Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Aim Saraswate Namaha. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Our humble Sashtang pranams at the holy lotus feet of Puji Gurudev, Puji Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj of Yoga Research Foundation, Miami, Florida. To Puji Param Gurudev, Puji Shri Swami Sivananda Ji Maharaj of Divine Life Society, Rishikesh, India. To Jagat Guru, Puji Shri Adi Shankaracharya Ji, saints of the lineage and all saints and sages of the entire world, our humble pranams. Blessed Self, adorations, heartfelt loving, divine blessings for expansion of divine energy, deep devotion, and speedy progress on the path of liberation. Blessings to each one of you. Aspirants and to your near and dear ones. Today is day 18 of Satsanga on Mantra Shiromani, the Crest Jewels of Mantra by Pujya Gurudev, Pujya Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj. Thank you, Gurudev, for bestowing so much grace upon us, for the profound knowledge, deep knowledge that you have bestowed upon us. Your dedication, your non-stop austerity to give, give and give. Thank you, Gurudev. I lie at your holy feet as a dust particle. I'm your instrument, walking on the path of your blessings to spread the knowledge, your knowledge, that you have churned the milk. You have churned the milk from each and every shastras. Your tapasya of austerity for so many years, you have churned and taken out the butter, the hard work you have done, and you have taken out the butter and giving us. May we have that Shakti with your blessings to be able to absorb and store that butter in our hearts, to reach God as Lord Krishna comes to steal the butter of our heart until our hearts become butter, become like butter and melts. Until that happens, Lord Krishna keeps coming and going. But when it becomes butter and it starts melting, then he comes and stays, because he comes to steal that butter. So may we all have that divine love, unconditional love, selfless service, outshine as devotees of the Lord, to be able to serve, to be able to spread that divine energy and love for healing of others who may be lacking some, who may be needing because of some hardship. With these prayers, we will continue our satsanga for day 18, and yesterday we had completed day 17 and just a little bit recap on the last portion only, and that was a story about a saintly person who kept repeating and repeating and repeating his mantra like thousands of times, yet never had a vision of a deity. His aspiration was to have darshan of God in form. To have darshan means to view, to see God right in front of him. And he kept chanting the mantra. So, but that didn't happen, and he got frustrated. And remember, none of us have to get frustrated. None of us, if we are true aspirants, we will do unconditional japa. And there may be conditions, of course, seeking liberation, aspiring for liberation is a condition also, but it's a shubha iksha. It's an auspicious condition or wish. So that is okay, that is allowed. However, if you have some other conditions like healing and other things, you want a better job, or you want to have darshan of God, or you want some, even though darshan of God is also a shubh ichha, healing is also for others even when we chant. So these are the things, if it does not happen, we do not have to get frustrated, because maybe you want it too soon. But this saintly person, what had happened, he got frustrated. And he said, why should I repeat mantra? And he just gave up. And he said, this is enough. I'm just not happy. It has done nothing for me. So at night he had a dream in which he saw 17 great piles of wood burning. Then he saw the deity of the mantra he was chanting. And the deity gave him darshan in the dream and told him, these piles of wood that you are seeing represents your negative karmas. So imagine 17 piles of negative karmas. Since you did 17 purusha charnas, that means different mantras have different numbers that you repeat that many times of that mantra, and it is called purusha charana. So you did 17 purusha charanas, repetition of mantras for so many thousands of times. So you did those 17 purusha charanas, and that is why 17 big heaps of karmas have been burnt up. And because it took all this time for your negative karmas to be consumed by the fire, you didn't see any tangible results from your repetition of mantra. But that mantra never stopped working. From day one, from mantra number 1, it started its work. but you can't see because it's doing some work in the background. Just like you have your cell phone, just like you have your computer, you type one letter. Do you know who's doing that? Yes, computer technology, computer technicians, and all those who have the knowledge, they know there is a software there that works on it. The computer, the hardware on its own is nothing. It's useless. And the software on its own is also useless. That software needs to be installed in the computer. And then when you type, those who don't know, they think it's just doing its work on its own. Or maybe they think that I am the one doing it. So that's not the case. In the background, that you don't see it with your eyes, you don't see the software even, you can't touch it, you can't feel it. So same way the mantras also work in the background, you don't see it. It's doing its work, definitely. That's why we are at this better stage rather than in the deeper dark space, dark holes like some of them are. So do not get frustrated. Continue to japa, japa and japa. Continue to chant your mantras. And one day, once when all those negative karmas will be burnt, then you will start seeing the positive accumulation. So that is why every breath chant mantra. With every breath chant your mantra. So nevertheless, your mantra was in constant operation. That's what the deity in the dream told him. So all aspirants must understand this lesson as well. Realize that repetition of mantra is a subtle but infallible process of inner transformation. It continues to transform you. But one day you will see the results. So today we are going to discuss on the topic of meditation on Gayatri mantra. So when you begin meditation on Gayatri mantra, repeat the mantra mentally with an awareness of its 4 parts. So it has 4 parts, and repeat the mantra mentally with the awareness of its 4 parts. So we will go through those 4 parts. So while repeating each part, a specific mental attitude should be maintained. This is the theory knowledge that we are going through. And this theory knowledge, when applied, should be followed during practical session. So part number 1 is Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Only 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 words. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So this portion, part 1, refers to expansion. Therefore, as you mentally repeat the Sanskrit words, meditate upon the infinite expansiveness that encompasses the 3 planes of existence. The entire universe. Excuse me. So, when you repeat those words, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, then meditate upon the infinite expansiveness that encompasses the 3 planes. Remember, we had talked about what these 3 means. O Bhu Bhuva Swaha, the physical plane, the astral plane, and the causal plane. So part 2, Tat Savitur Varenyam. These are the three words. Tat Savitur Varenyam. So you'll recognize that by noting the pause. When we pause, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So there is a pause. Tat Savitur Varenyam. See, again there is a pause. This is the part 2. So meditate upon absolute consciousness with these three, Tat Savitur Varenyam, the light of all lights, which permeates the entire universe. So meditate upon that light. God is like the effulgent sun, pervading the three worlds. So it is, everyone will have their own way of thinking and visioning and meditating upon that. So that effulgence of light shining upon the three worlds at physical level, astral level, and causal level. And then tapping into that absolute consciousness. Absolute is that Brahman. So divine glory is resplendent in every object. That glory is hidden from your view only due to ignorance. If you were enlightened, you would perceive this scintillating, brilliant light of God radiating throughout the world. This radiance gradually reveals itself as one becomes more proficient in japa. So japa is the root. And then part 3, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. So remember the poses. So part 1, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha pose. Part 1. Part 2, Tat Savitur Varenyam pose. Part 3, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi pose. That's part 3. So meditate upon the blazing light of the self, shining upon the summits of your intellect. So your inner self, yourself is now shining. Blazing light is coming out of the self, and that is shining upon your intellect, your buddhi, your knowledge. And feel that you are invoking the divine presence. Feel that you are invoking the divine presence within your heart, and that you are being enveloped by divine consciousness. So in part 3, you see that radiance of light from yourself, and then you see the divine presence within you, and that is why that blazing light is emanating and shining from your within the self. And then you feel that divine presence is now enveloping you, the self. and that divine consciousness is within you, permeating through the heart. Pray for the wisdom that illumines your intellect. So now, that blazing light, pray for the illumination of your intellect with that God's radiant light. And then part 4, repeating the fourth part, Dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. End of it. So that is why it's 4 parts. There are 3 poses. So I'll repeat the whole and notice the poses. Aum Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. So also dayat, and then at Varenyam also Varenyam, Varenyam prachodayat. They say Gayatri is the meter. How you pronounce and where you pause, where your pitch is high, where it is low, it is important. And then the fourth portion is develop a feeling of supreme surrender of the ego as you perceive the glory of the transcendental self. So now at the fourth part, you surrender your ego, surrender yourself in that effulgence of light, the supreme, the divine consciousness. So that divine consciousness is permeating through you as you chant. Like that radiant sun, that same light is blazing within you. So follow through that as you chant the mantra and continue to meditate upon that with this manner. Thus, in 4 stages, you are meditating upon infinite existence or limitless expansion, the light of spiritual consciousness, invocation of the spiritual light in your being, and the experience of enlightenment. So, while you are continuously repeating Gayatri mantra, or start with your objective, with your aim, with your goal, then you say, I will chant 9 Gayatris every day, or I will chant 11 Gayatris every day. But you can also, the best is chant either 9 morning, 9 midday, 9 in the evening. If not 9, at least 3 in the morning, 3 during the midday, and then 3 in the evening. And it will still become 9 in total for a day. And as you continue with that practice, it becomes yagna. And when you chant that mantra, some days if you have time, you can do longer, you can do 108. And then you can continue to meditate upon that mantra. And then there will be expansion, illumination, surrender, and divine communion or realization. You will experience temporary enlightenment, like it comes and goes, but as you graduate, you may have that longer time. that feeling of peace, that enlightenment, the effulgence of light will stay longer and longer until you get self-realized. Then you are always in that mode. So as you practice this meditation, recite the mantra mentally with a focused but relaxed mind. You may wish to adapt physical or concrete symbols to guide your mind into the depths of meditation. So you can have a Gayatri Ma deity, or you can simply have Om. To begin with, you may need a support. Gaze at it for a while, start repeating mantra. Maybe you have to start repeating a little loudly, then you can whisper, and then you can slowly transition to mental level, and then continue to chant mentally until you are satisfied. It depends on the time you have and the vow you have taken. You can do that. As you practice this meditation, recite the mantra mentally with a focused but relaxed mind. You may wish to adapt physical or concrete symbols to guide your mind into the depths of meditation. For example, mentally visualize the most enchanting sunrise. Because Gayatri, remember I said, when you see the sun in the morning, try to make a habit of having the vision of the sun. Or if you don't go outside when the weather is not good, you don't view the sun, or you don't have that time to do that, you sit down and mentally vision Surya Bhagwan, the sun, and then chant the mantra. And then you join your palms in front of your heart, close your eyes, mentally vision the sun, and chant Gayatri mantra. You can mentally also offer Abhishekam. So visualize the sunrise. See the round luminous orb of the sun gently appear over the horizon, and allow your mind to be charmed and captivated by its golden radiance. Vividly recall the dramatic changes that take place so simply and spontaneously in the nature as the sun rises. You can start seeing the flowers blooming, the leaves shining on the dewdrops that's hanging on the leaves, and it's now shining like diamond because of the ray of the sun, illumining the nature. And you see those changes as the sun rises from the horizon. Vividly recall the dramatic changes that take place so simply and spontaneously in nature as the sun rises. Imagine that you had seen and then you had been lost during the hours of the night. And as the sun begins to rise, you develop a sense of renewed confidence. So imagine you are lost in the jungle and it is night time. Even though you may be on the road, but it is so dense. The bushes are so dense. and it's night time, you don't have a light, and you get lost. You don't know which way to go further. But as soon as the sun rises, now you are so happy because you see everything. So the terrifying atmosphere of intense darkness spontaneously becomes filled with vibrations of joy, and you begin to see the path unfold before you. The clouds that were so foreboding during the night are now glowing with metallic brilliance as the light of the sun embraces them. Inspired by this visualization, consider the magnificent sun as a symbol of the divine self, and its rays as the mystic effulgence with which God illumines your mind with wisdom. The moment you catch the glimpse of that dawning of wisdom, the darkness of confusion and misery disappears. It becomes so joyful. So the black clouds of troubles now appear as blessings, and the way forward becomes clear. You see your path, you know how to move forward. So then imagine the thrill of nature as the rays of the rising sun touches the clouds, shimmer on rivers and lakes, sweep across the valleys, and transforms the snowy mountain peaks into scintillating crystalline jewels. Similarly, imagine the light of the self, the light of intuition, touching your intellect, sweeping over your mind and enveloping your personality as the dark night of ignorance is transformed into the golden dawn of illumination. Feel that you are, and feel that your entire personality is thrilled by the light of divine presence, just as all of the nature is thrilled by the luminous sun at dawn. Considering the sun as the visible manifestation of the divine self, offer adorations to that God who permeates the three worlds, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, who is the light of lights. As you enjoy the awareness of His presence, dedicate your intellect at His feet. May He touch your intellect with His enlightening grace. Feel that. Receive this energy. Bow down at His feet. As your mind enters into the depths of meditation, the mental repetition of mantra will spontaneously cease. However, the meaning and the feeling of the mantra will continue, and the symbolic forms may continue to float before your mental vision. As you ascend higher, enveloped by the joy of divine presence, you will lose awareness of the body, awareness of names and forms, awareness of time and space. All these will be lost as you ascend higher. During this experience of something so overwhelmingly sweet, your mind transcends all limited awareness. In that experience of divine presence, ego melts. You begin to view all the things that seem real in your life like a passing dream. It is not confined to time and space. It is not subject to pleasure and pain. It is transcendental like the shining sun. It is one with God. The divine self, eternal, infinite, the embodiment of bliss. Gayatri Devi is Brahman in the form of Divine Mother. So continue to chant mantra, Gayatri mantra, in a prayerful form, and then meditate upon it. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us pray for every being, everybody, and that Samasta Loka includes us and our near and dear ones. For saints, everyone is near and dear. So let us all practice that. Let us pray for every being. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiya Bandhanan Mrityor Mokshiye Mamritat. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranatakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः।